What is good, everybody? It's Michael Walter here from CarpetExpertBlueprint.com, and in this video I want to share a throwback story with you. This is in the good old days of the Great Recession, 2008-2009, when you had to chase clients for money, everybody was broke, and it's a little story about how we had to actually punk a customer out to go ahead and get our money out of them. Now, typically, these things just don't happen anymore. We're in a thriving economy. We accept payments in all sorts of merchant accounts digitally. It's easy to get paid, easy to do business. But back when the recession was going on, the struggle was real and you would have to shake clients down. Everybody would duck you on the money they owed. So this was an interesting story. And we also used to use Craigslist really heavily. And as a note to that, if you're just starting out, Craigslist is a great way to blow up your business. But during the recession there was tons of cons and still are on there. But anyway, let's dive into this. So we're running our ads on Craigslist. We get a lead and it's in Euclid, Ohio. We go ahead and schedule the estimate. I go out there. I recognize the family. It turns out our kids are in cheerleading together. So there's a little bit of a connection, but we really don't know each other at all. And they had inherited this house they wanted new carpet installed in. And they were just going to go ahead and flip it. So they wanted cheap carpet and cheap vinyl installed, cheap across the board. They were on a budget and they just wanted to get their money out of it. So we sell them the package deal. It's probably like, it was next to nothing, under $2,000. You know what I'm saying? Small deal. We get it wrapped up. We're good to go. We're scheduled. Everything's good. Here's where it gets interesting. And this was a common play at this time. In vacant properties, investment properties, and flips, the owner of the property would never be there. And it would be typically because they wouldn't have the money to pay you right away. They would need some time to go ahead and scrape up the cash to get you squared up. We were used to it and it was just a common theme, so I was okay with it. Now, this customer was acting like they were big stuff, but they were saying, hey, we're going to be out of town. The house is going to be unlocked. Just go over there and knock it out and I'll square up with you when you're done. So I go in there with my team. We install the vinyl. We install the carpet. We do the tear out. It's old and grimy and gross and everything nasty, but we get it done. We're good to go. I give him a shout. He says, well, hey, I'm out of town, but as soon as I get back, I'm going to check it out, get you squared up. I'll be back later tonight. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm expecting to meet up with this guy the next day to square up. So the next day I don't hear from him. I give him a shout after work just saying, hey, did you have an opportunity to stop by there and check it out? He's like, yeah, I got over there. Hey, you missed a couple things. I need you to get back over there and touch them up. And he was really vague about it. And I was like, okay, well, what needs to be done? He's like, you'll see. So we go over there the next day. The house is unlocked and we check it out and we really don't see anything wrong. But, you know, you go around, you touch up the corners or whatever. Maybe we miss some strings, you know, little odds and ends just to make sure everything's good. And I reach out to him and say, yeah, we should be good to go. So we'll see you. Go ahead and check it out and we'll meet up. So the next day goes by. He doesn't call me. Then I call him. Hey, did you have the opportunity to check that out? And he said, yeah, I went over there, Mike, and it's still not right. I said, it's still not right. He said, I don't know what you did, but it's just not right over there. I said, okay, well, let's get back over there. He said, Mike, don't you ever waste my time like this again. And I was like, really? This dude just grew some balls on us here. So here's a guy who wanted it on credit, didn't have the money to pay us, but he was acting like we were the problem, and yet he wouldn't meet us over there, and then he threw his weight at me a little bit. Here's where we got strategic to get our money. Now, I'm a little guy. If you've seen any of my videos, I'm not a big intimidating dude by any means, but I'm friends with the big intimidating dudes. So here's what we did. I said, well, look, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, and the only way we're going to get this right is if you meet me over there and show me exactly what's wrong so I can go ahead and fix it for you and make sure we're good to go. And he said, okay, great. I can be there Friday with the money, and I will show you exactly what's wrong. I said, perfect. I will be over there, and we'll get it all fixed up. Now, the reality of the story is, homeboy needed till Friday to pay us. And had he said that in the beginning, it'd have been fine. There wouldn't have been any problems, but he was too embarrassed to say he didn't have the money. But hey, we're in the Great Recession. Nobody had money. It was okay. But he just didn't want to come to that. So anyway, Friday comes along. And this was when I was doing big commercial projects. So I owned a lot of trucks at the time. And anybody that knows anything about the trades, or if you're in the trades, you know there's a lot of sketchy looking dudes in the business. And I had a whole team of them. Neck tats, prison tats, face tats, you name it. So most of these guys were teddy bears, but they looked the part of downright scary. So we schedule a time, and he thinks it's just me meeting him there on Friday. And I have every one of my guys grab a truck, and we all roll up on the house. And homeboy's there by himself. So we all walk in with toolboxes, and he lets us all in, and then I stop, and I close the door right behind him and act like I'm going to lock it. So I kind of do that scene out of A Bronx Tale when he's like, now yous can't leave. Now, I didn't get cheesy on him like that, but I just closed the door and I said, well, let's do a walkthrough and see exactly what's wrong. And he sees all these sketchy looking characters in his house now. He's like, this many guys just for this little repair? I was like, well, I want to make sure absolutely nothing gets overlooked. And we go over into the kitchen and he tries to point out a little bubble in the vinyl right up against the wall that you could step right down. Now, granted, it should have been caught on the first place, but he was just looking for excuses to drag out the money play. So we basically punked this dude out. It hurt his pride, and he didn't like that a guy smaller than him was kind of teamed up with some thuggish looking dudes, and we shook him down. He had the money, we got paid, and we went out about our business. And I would run into him at the sporting events, and he would avoid me at all costs. Here's where the story actually gets really funny. Fast forward to 2 years ago. So we're in 2017. I sell my house. I move to a new neighborhood, get set up. Everything's good. I'm happy. And when I'm moving in, I see that douchebag that didn't pay me, and we punked him out. And I'm like, oh, great. This idiot hangs out in this neighborhood. I didn't think he actually lived there. So anyway, we move in. Everything's good. And then a week goes by. Homeboy lives across the street from me, 5 doors down. I see this cat on a regular basis. Now, me personally, I got no bad beef with anybody. You give me my money, we're good to go. If I do something wrong, I'll own it. But this was some static. So when I walked by, I gave him a little smile and a head nod. He didn't appreciate that one bit. He just looked the other way, still butthurt after 10 years. So thankfully, we're no longer in recessions. And the moral of this story is, as long as we're in a good economy, choose the clients you work with. And I know that's difficult when you're starting out because you want to accept any possible job you can get your hands on to take care of your family, because that's what's most important. But sometimes taking on any and every job will cost you big in the long run, between headaches, hassles, nonsense, rumors on the streets. So me personally, and I've announced this in other videos, I focus on the middle class and the upper middle class because they always have anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 at their disposal. They don't want the high-end carpet and they don't want the cheap stuff. They want a midline product, and you hit big commissions on midline products, and it's not at all stressful to work with. So that's my formula. It may not be the right formula for you. I know some people that thrive with high-end carpet. Me personally, not for me. I know other people that love high volume, super cheap carpet. That's awesome. When I was younger and had more energy, I was all about that as well. I loved high volume business. But for me, I found my niche, and I suggest you do the same. Carve out your ideal client. Go ahead and just attack that sector of the market and profit as wildly as you possibly can. We only have one hand at this, and our bodies are on a timeline, especially in the flooring game with all the abuse we take it. So get as much money as you can, make bank, build a big name for yourself, expand, profit, and do your thing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a little different than my usual strategies, but thank you so much for tuning in.